Okay. Hey, we're going to be starting in just half a second here.
I'm here. Okay, there we go. So I am Mike DeSimone.
And I'm Jeff Jenssen, and together we are the World Wine Guys.
Okay, there we are. We're live.
All
okay.
Right. We're live.
I'm Mike DeSimone.
And I'm Jeff Jenssen, and together we are the World Wine Guys.
Okay, there we are. We're live.
Okay, so I'm just turning the sound off on our little monitor here. We have a professional sound and light crew today. It's called
Us.
It's called Us.
So,
and we have natural sunlight, which is a beautiful day here in New York City. We're in Midtown New York City, and we're coming to you live talking about one of our favorite champagne, Champagne Taittinger.
That's right. You know, we're all, many of us are in our homes. We're not going out anywhere. Actually, let's, why don't you pour that champagne, Jeff, and then we'll give props. We will toast to all of the people who are out there on the front lines, to the ambulance drivers, the EMTs, to the nurses, to the doctors, to everyone who works in hospitals, who are taking care of people who are ill, also the people who work in grocery stores, as well as the people who work in wine shops.
Yeah, thank God wine is an essential business in New York City. For us, as you can tell, it's a pretty essential part of our life. But champagne is always one of those wonderful things that you want to open champagne for a celebration, but you also want to open champagne by opening that bottle, you create the celebration. So let's...
Right, so cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
And cheers.
Cheers. Nice.
And what we are drinking is Champagne Taittinger Brut La Française, which is Taittinger's entry level or most basic champagne. It's a blend of the...
But it's not basic at all.
I know.
Nor is it entry level. This is what I would call my everyday champagne, if I had the budget to have champagne every day.
So this is a blend of the three main grapes that go into champagne: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. You may be asking yourself, if you're not a big champagne aficionado, hey, wait a second, isn't Pinot Noir a red grape? How come that's white? And actually, it's a good question. I asked it, so that...
Actually, we have a lot of good questions there. Good.
Oh, there we go. Good.
How do you properly say this champagne? Hi, Joyce. This is Champagne Taittinger. If you're in France, it's Champagne Taittinger. In America, we do refer to it as Taittingers.
I have heard it as Taittinger.
So,
but it's Taittinger is the French way to say that. So as I started to say, the reason that this is white is that the Pinot Noir grapes and the Pinot Meunier grapes are given a very, very light pressing. So right. Pinot Noir, when you have a red Pinot Noir, or actually the rosé that we're going to get to a little bit later, is made with some Pinot Noir. That's what gives it its beautiful color. That's actually left on the skins longer, and that's what gives the wine its color. But this is pressed so that it is a white, sparkling wine that comes from the Champagne region of France.
And you know, we have somebody writing in, a woman named Carla. Hi, Carla. And she says we really have to thank the people in agriculture. So I'll give a big toast to the people working the vines, essential businesses in the U.S., in Napa, for example. Thank you for all the vine workers, and thank you around the world making champagne from Champagne, France. So cheers again.
All right, so cheers again to that. And I actually really like this. It's very...
I can keep drinking it all day.
I could keep drinking it all day. It's very bright in the mouth. It's got some nice... There's like some green apple and some lemon. And then there's some really nice toasty notes.
Yeah.
In there as well.
And you know, I said before about champagne, about it being for a special occasion. Sometimes what we like to do is, you know, we're all sheltering in place now. We're all
SIP.
We're sipping, and that just because you're sheltering in place doesn't mean that you have to drink bad wine. You can open a bottle of champagne, and by opening that bottle, you're creating the occasion. It doesn't have to be your birthday. It doesn't have to be your anniversary. You want to do something for yourself to feel special. And when Mike said before, this is, you know, Taittinger's entry level. It's very well priced, and you can find it around for really not much more than a decent bottle of wine from anywhere in the world. So you can drink champagne. And in fact, I'm going to be having, I think, fried chicken tonight with the rest of this bottle, I think, right? Is that true?
That is what's going on here. We're having fried chicken tonight. I love champagne. You know, sometimes we get a little fancy and everyone's like, oh, champagne and lobster, champagne and caviar, champagne and oysters. I like champagne with a lot of different things. I like it with fried chicken. I like it with roast chicken.
Yeah.
Like Jeff said, macaroni and cheese.
I like it with popcorn.
Popcorn.
Mac and cheese.
We're all binge watching shows. We're watching movies at home. There's
Potato
nothing wrong
chips.
with popping up some popcorn and popping a bottle of champagne and sitting back with whatever your binge show or your movie of choice is.
Well, you know, we visited the Taittinger family. Pierre Emmanuel, the father, and the head of the company now.
Actually, Vitaly, his
Vitaly
daughter,
is
is the president, and her brother Clovis is very involved too.
I agree, and maybe Pierre Emmanuel keeps coming around thinking he still has a job, but his daughter Vitaly is doing a wonderful job. The new generation of Taittinger or Taittinger. We've been with the family. They're wonderful people. Very hospitable.
Actually, one of the funniest things is we have some friends because we travel around. We write about wine. We visit wineries. We have a very good friend who lives in Champagne in France, and we were there for a couple of days. Kind of tight schedule. Didn't have a lot of time. And he gave us a hard time. He was like, "Oh, you come to France and you only have half an hour to visit with me for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine." Blah, blah.
Yeah.
But so
Frank, if you're watching, sorry, we're telling your story.
So he met us at our hotel, and turned out we're going to dinner that night with Pierre Emmanuel Taittinger at their beautiful Chateau de la Marqueterie, which is their beautiful chateau in the vineyards right outside of Epernay.
So all we can say is that our friend Frank was very impressed, and so were we, because we had a wonderful dinner.
But
so Pierre Emmanuel
personally picked us up and drove us to dinner.
Nice car, by the way.
And our friend kind of was like, "Oh, I guess you are a little bit busy." So that was
we were very busy.
That was a fun trip.
Pierre Emmanuel, I know you're watching. I know Vitaly, you're watching. Thank you for making such a wonderful champagne, and thank you for creating such wonderful memories for ourselves visiting.
And you know what? We have a question here. Carla's asking lots of questions, which is great. Thank you, Carla. Questions, comments. So Carla actually asked, what is the difference between the regular Brut and the Brut Reserve? So actually what we have, this is the Brut La Française, which is the regular Brut. And then actually our next one up is the Taittinger Prelude, and this is made from Grand Cru vineyards. There's no Pinot Meunier in this. There is only 50% Chardonnay and 50% Pinot Noir from the Grand Cru vineyard. So this is actually a level up from the Brut La Française, from the regular Brut.
While we're talking about that, we'll talk about the next level up, which is a vintage champagne. Again, this is only 50% Chardonnay, 50% Pinot Noir, similar to the Prelude, but also from Grand Cru vineyards, but the difference is this is from a specific year. So this is vintage 2013.
Nope, that one.
I'm sorry, 2013. Boy, I had a couple sips of champagne.
Stop looking at the monitor backwards.
Exactly, right. The monitor is showing me backwards. All right, so Joyce, wow, super jealous, love Epernay. I love Epernay as well, and Reims and all those beautiful little cities, and hopefully
little villages in between.
We'll get back to them pretty soon.
So as we were saying, so this is the Millésime 2013. So in general, most champagne, the majority of it is non-vintage.
Correct.
So it's blended using what they call base wines from different years, and so by doing that, by blending wine from different years and by sourcing from vineyards in the three main regions of Champagne, and by blending the three different grapes, it's possible, regardless of the conditions, every year the weather to have a consistent house style.
To maintain a house
so
style.
you're going to always expect the Brut La Française tastes the same,
Right.
approximately the same year after year.
It's consistent. You know you're going to get quality.
Vintage champagne, which is a higher expression of champagne, as they say. All of the grapes are from 1 year. You are going to have some variation from year to year, but it's
again,
only made in exceptional years, and
Right.
you can bet that you're going to get a really fine, high-quality champagne.
And again, the house style is maintained. So that leaves us with the rosé, and
Let me get glasses for that.
I didn't finish mine. I could down it, but we're trying to be somewhat classy.
You
doing
can
a
hold on to
Facebook
that
Live.
for the fried chicken.
I'll have this with the fried chicken.
Okay.
But a couple more glasses, and
All right, there I am.
all right. A little bit of Taittinger rosé.
I dressed to match.
Oh, that's right, you did.
I did.
You know, the one thing I love about this champagne is that it is a really beautiful color. And the way that Taittinger gets this color is by adding 15% high quality still Pinot Noir wine to the final blend. So it's got this gorgeous color, salmon, pink.
Yeah.
What would you
Yeah,
know?
No, it's beautiful. That's like the color of a perfect sunset.
Yeah.
It really is.
Definitely.
And you know, rosé champagne I think it's especially fun. It's especially festive. Again, it goes with a lot of the same foods that we mentioned. The flavor profile is not that much different.
Right. But this is delicious. So cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
Oh, I can drink this all day.
I
matter of
take
fact-
that back, though. I take back what I just said about the flavor profile, because I think the Brut de Française has a lot of apple and citrus. This does start to move a little bit more towards like strawberry
red
and
raspberry.
and some like ripe cherry as well.
So we have another question, and one of our watchers, our viewers today said that they like a little sweeter champagne.
If that's Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Joyce. So we don't have that bottle up here. It's called Nocturne, and it's a really wonderful champagne made by the Taittinger.
Yeah, Taittinger Nocturne.
And it's called Nocturne, and it is 17.5 grams of sugar for the dosage. Most champagnes are 0 dosage, 1, 2 grams of sugar. Nocturne is about 17 grams, 17.5.
So that's great if you like a sweet champagne on its own, or some people like to serve champagne either with blue cheese. I think the slightly sweeter
that's
champagne
great.
is great with blue cheese after dinner, or with a vanilla or lemon cake, or even a creamy dessert like a creme brulee.
Creme brulee,
It wouldn't
like
go
that.
with chocolate, but would go very. Think white dessert, sweet champagne.
Yeah.
So the Taittinger Nocturne would be great with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry we don't have a bottle to show you today. We had our friends over, Carol and Karen and Sherry.
And they like sweet champagne,
and
so that
they really loved the sweet champagne.
So that went.
So Carol, Karen, Sherry,
And-
your husbands,
Yep.
we toast to you
and
as well.
and everybody out there who's watching, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Again, I'm Mike DeSimone.
And I'm Jeff Jenssen, and today we're so happy to present Taittinger Champagne. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Take care of your family. Take care of your friends.
And drink well. Drink Taittinger. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks again.